Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome to some Daggerfall. Now, we're playing Daggerfall Unity today. I'm not a stranger to Daggerfall. If you couldn't guess, it's one of my favorite games of all time. It's just always been one of my favorites. I always come back to at least every couple of years. And, of course, I've had my eye on Unity for quite a long time. And recently I actually finished it. Like as in a few hours ago. So, I was using this as just test footage for my update video for 2023, but it doesn't matter. So, I'm not a stranger to Daggerfall. As of today, I finished it 3 times, and you'd be like, oh wow, that's not many. But you gotta remember, I was using old Daggerfall. The kind where it would literally eat your saves and you would not have the ability to keep playing because the game would bug out, something would break, and I've had that happen way too many times. I probably started Daggerfall more times than I finished it, which is only 3 times total, 2 in vanilla, 1 in this. So, I will say there's some significant differences between this and Unity, original Daggerfall and Unity. Unity is the superior way to play. Now, I feel bad because, Unity gets a lot of bad rap, there's a lot of bad stuff made in it, and seems like, oh, it's kind of too good to be true. It's not. Unity is pretty much the solid 100% way to go. As someone who's played a lot of Daggerfall vanilla, yeah, trust me, there's so many quality of life features that I cannot even begin to start with. So if you're familiar with Unity at all, you also probably are like, oh, what are you going to add that's different? I'm actually keeping this as vanilla as humanly possible. I don't have any of the extra mods installed. You can go ahead and do that if you want to. There's like hundreds of mods for this right now on Test Nexus, and I'm sure it's just floating around in loose internet spaces, so yeah, you can find tons of stuff for this. If you want that one little sliver of vulva pixels on your character, go for it, man. You can do that. There's so many things I love about Daggerfall that it is my favorite Elder Scrolls game, and it's such a heated topic. Oh, which one's better, Skyrim, Oblivion, or Morrowind? Well, if I had to say, it's Daggerfall every single time. Arena, I just can't even stand to play because it's so unfriendly. I honestly hope something like this level of, fan-created engine with Unity comes to Daggerfall like it will to Arena someday. I've never finished Arena. It is so buggy, it's so unbalanced, and it's just unfun to play. Daggerfall is the superior game. If I had to, it's going to sound controversial. I think Oblivion's my other favorite, and then Morrowind, then Arena, then Skyrim. I absolutely detest Skyrim. I've played it like 6 times, and each time I've played through it just out of spite. I just don't think it's a good game. It's an okay game, I should say, but it's a bad role-playing game. It's a bad Elder Scrolls game. So those are my opinions if you're ever curious. That way, moving forward, you see why I like this game so much. My first Elder Scrolls game was Oblivion, and then it was Daggerfall, Arena, Morrowind, Skyrim, so in that order. I'm not strange to this series. I know exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to lore, for the most part. Big main characters, all those sorts of things, historical events in the lore itself. I'm a fairly decent Elder Scrolls fan. I just don't like what happened to it after Skyrim, obviously, because it just sort of dumbed it down so hard. Haven't touched ESO, so those are my Elder Scrolls-y opinions that are just out the way right now. My least favorite aspect of Daggerfall Unity, if I could be up front, man, they just took out the most amazing sound bug of all time in all of Daggerfall, which was the one where it would just like, it would just sound like some fucking Atari nonsense going on in your eardrums. Other than that, I have nothing but good things to say. So there's a lot of stuff with Daggerfall I do have to go into because it's a lot. It's a big fucking game with a lot of things going on. So this first video might seem a bit explanation-y and a little bit wordy, but trust me, if you're just looking at it, you're like, oh, Daggerfall has been free since, 2010, 2009, something like that. So, it's like, oh, this looks cool, it's free, I'll give it a shot, it's free on Steam, you can use this with your Steam folder as well. There's a lot of easy things to find on how to do that, it's not hard at all. So let's go ahead and get into it. So I literally just finished a character, like, not very long ago, so this is weird. But we're going to start a new game, and this is the most important part of the game. Select your home province. Now, you cannot be an Imperial. I think there might be a mod that adds this, but this is essentially what your race is going to determine. Now, it's not like in your Skyrims here, you know, you're actually going to matter where your character comes from, your gender. All that is a huge part of each character and what makes each character progress slightly differently than the other. In vanilla Daggerfall, and this is another reason you should honestly choose Unity, some intrinsics were broken. I know that Skyrim, if you chose a Nord, you would essentially just kind of bullshit your way through the game. I know that the Argonians, I think, have some sort of issue in the native version, but it doesn't matter. So in terms of where this game takes place, it's the Iliac Bay. It's between Hammerfell and High Rock. My favorite preferences in terms of characters in Elder Scrolls generally are going to be Dunmer or Bretons. I think Breton is my favorite, but I just played through as a Breton. But, you know, I might as well just do it for convenience sake. So, Bretons. Bretons hail from the province of High Rock. You are a part of a tall, fair-skinned people with highly intelligent and willful. Sorry, let me reset that entire reading. Bretons hail from the province of High Rock. You are part of a tall, fair-skinned people, highly intelligent and willful. Jesus. Magic seems to infuse the very being of the Breton people. As a race, they are more resistant to the effects of hostile magic than any other group, and thus are excellent in all arcane arts. So, I generally always choose a Breton. I played through as a Dark Elf, I've played through as a High Elf, filthy, cannibalistic wood elves, you know, furries and scalies, get fucked. And Hammerfell, pretty solid warrior class if you want to do that. Morrowind, you know, let's make a Dark Elf. Let's change it. So Dark Elves hail from the province of Morrowind. You are part of a tall, dark-skinned people, known to be extremely strong, intelligent, and quick. They are extremely versatile in all manners of skills and well known as warriors and mages. So if you're curious, what does that actually mean when it's saying these things? This actually does determine what stats you're going to start with. For the most part, I'd say Dark Elves do fare to be better Spellblades, as you're going to call it, I guess. So we're going to go ahead and choose Dark Elf. I'm going to go female, and this is where it gets important. So in Arena, you could kind of do this, but this is where class customization really existed in Elder Scrolls. So you can also create your own, which is what we're going to do. Also, you'll notice that the text, you can change this to be more pixely if you want to, but we're not doing that. We have it set to be a little more smoothed out. So all of these right here, these are all actually explained in the manual. It's like a 96-page manual, by the way. Which I only have a PDF of. I actually don't physically own this game, unfortunately. So this is the first time you could do this. We're going to hit custom, and we're going to call ourselves Booty Action. So that's our name. That's our class name. You can't do that shit in Skyrim. That's all I can say. So you're probably looking at this and just going, holy shit, this is a wall of everything. Whoa, what is this? Advantages and disadvantages? Oh my god. So first things first, this is something you can't do in other Elder Scrolls games, unfortunately. This is only in this game, and it may seem like what I'm going to do is a little bit cheesy, but trust me, I am not playing around. This game is hard. So I'm going to dump personality down to 30. We'll go with 30. We'll be a not very talkative person. This was also in the days when this series was still very, very, very into classic D&D style skills. For now, I'll pump that down to 45, and I'm not really super worried about strength, so I'm going to go and put straight up into 60 agility, and I'll explain all this in a minute. And 60 intelligence, and we'll go with 55 speed. So, okay, what does all this mean? Strength, this just encompasses basically taking damage. It kind of is like willpower, if I'm correct in here. Strength basically is like melee strength, and it has some factor in how much you can carry. Intelligence, this is essentially unchanged in most Elder Scrolls games. This is your overall magic pool. It also has some, I think, determination from your willpower. Willpower is your ability to absorb magic attacks and stuff like that. Agility is extremely important in this game. Agility dictates your, I think, part of your stamina, which is like your fatigue in other games, basically. And this essentially determines how effective you are in combat, your maneuverability, your dodge chance. This is such a crucial skill in the early Elder Scrolls games that it's very important to have it somewhat high in the beginning. I'm really tempted to just put myself down to personality more. But anyways, endurance, this is going to be your fatigue points, your encumbrance points, and I believe it also has an effect on how many HP points you also get per level. I'm not really going to mess with that right now. Personality, this affects barter prices and talking to NPCs, which is not greatly important in this game. Speed does what it says. The higher your speed, the better it's going to go. Luck, pretty much a little bit of everything, if you couldn't tell. Luck determines your dice rolls in this game because it does use dice roll systems similar to Morrowind if you've played that. Essentially, you could dump stat luck. It does determine the quality of gear that drops, but it's not essential. You can dump stat it, but I'm probably not going to. So this is the main stuff, right? So, okay. Ignore all this stuff on like skill advancement and all this stuff for like 2 seconds, okay? So primary skills, major skills, and minor skills. If you've played Morrowind or Oblivion, you kind of already have an idea what this means. So in Morrowind, and lesser extent, your primary skills would level you up in Oblivion. This works more like in Morrowind, where your primary and major skills are what help level you up. However, you don't just level up by using your skills. It's a combination of their numbers that they've reached, if I'm correct. And it's also a couple of things like that. You do advance them by using them, that's true. But you get more level up from the game determining, hey, you've hit like a certain number in primary and major. And minor skills are just basically like freebie bonus points, right? They're just whatever. So we're going to go ahead and roll a spell sword, which is basically a mix between magic and melee, which I always generally enjoy. These skills are going to start off the highest, obviously, in your primary. I'm going to go ahead and use Longblade, and then we're also going to go into a class of magic. I'm going to make something similar to kind of what I just did, Restoration, and we'll go ahead and go into... It's going to seem cheesy, but trust me, it's very important. Running. Running is governed by... All these skills have different governances, if you're familiar with like Morrowind and Oblivion as well. So these are our primary skills, and our major skills are going to be... let's go with jumping. We'll go with another couple of things in here. I kind of want to get mysticism. And so also in terms of skills, I'll explain what these all are in a moment. We'll also go with something kind of useful, I guess. Well, we'll just go with good old dodging. That'll be going the entire game. Actually, nah, let's go ahead and use something a bit more practical. With illusion. So, and then minor skills. So essentially what we're going to be doing is leveling up from attacking, dodging, casting spells. This works like in Oblivion, Morrowind, etc. Skyrim, lesser extent, obviously, that game has like 0 RPG mechanics. So you're probably looking at all this and going, holy shit, these are a lot of skills. So alteration, magic, archery. If you want to make a marksman character, you can use archery. It's basically just determine what kind of things you want to hit shit with, right? You can choose axe, blunt, that encompasses stabs, stuff like that. Backstabbing is really hard to pull off. Stealth is very difficult in this game, but it is very good. Centaurian is actually a linguistic skill, and so is daedric, dragonish, etiquette, giantish, harpy, nymph, orcish, spriggan, streetwise, I'm pretty sure. These are all actually kind of scrapped for good reason in later games. What these do is they basically level when you've interacted with or like killed various types of those creatures. So like if you have a high daedric, it means you've encountered Daedra and you can pacify them. So this essentially, a linguist build basically requires high these skills. You can buy them from like trainers, and they basically pacify enemies so where they will not attack you. It's not very useful, but you know, it can be. Like etiquette can stop guards from attacking you. If you're a thief class, they can also stop like the battle mage NPC, stuff like that. So etiquette skills aren't very, very useful, but if you want to do it, go for it. Climbing is interesting. Climbing is actually a skill only in this game, I'm pretty sure. There's mods that are out there, but climbing basically lets you Spider-Man up walls. There's also a mod in this that you can enable by default in Unity that lets you do this new improved version, but I haven't tested it out. I don't really care. It's really fun. Basically, the skill going up determines if you're going to fall or slip, whatever, and just, you know, success rate and speed of climbing up walls. So, Critical Strike, this was broken in the original and it didn't actually work properly. This one, basically your chance of dealing double damage. I'm actually going to put that in minor skill. Daedric, Linguist, Destruction, you know what to do, that's magic. Dodging, I'll put dodging in there as well. Dodging is essentially your light armor, heavy armor kind of thing in other games where you have more chance of dodging attacks and it's gained by dodging attacks. So it's fairly useful. Dragonish and Etiquette and Giantish, these are all linguist skills. Hand-to-hand, pretty self-explanatory. Harpy, Impish, these are linguist. Lockpicking. Lockpicking is weird in this game. It's actually more like you just hit doors and that's how they open. Medical determines how many skill points you restore quickly as you rest. So I'm going to pick that. Short blade, if you want to use shorter weapons like katanas, dows, I think, or no, they're not dows. There's tantos and daggers, stuff like that. Spriggan, linguist, stealth, pretty much what you think. Streetwise, linguist, swimming, and I'll also add thaumaturgy, which is, I think this is replaced with conjuration in later games. But this is like another school of magic. And we'll go with mercantile, I forgot to mention, just barter prices. I don't know, let's just go with something simple like climbing. So this is basically our character. We're booty action class. So this is the next part of creating your character. It's kind of complex, but it's not crazy. So you can see this dagger moving up and down. What this does is skill advancement means if you have an easier character, which I'll get into in a minute, the easier your character is, the slower the character will actually level up. By proxy, the harder the character it is, the easier it is to level up quicker. This is something, like I said, you can do in this game that's really... You can look at the help file and there's stuff like that. So let's go ahead and add advantages. I'm actually going to add a few because, trust me, do this. Unless you want to have a miserable experience in Daggerfall. So, increase magery. Do not hit int and spell points. If you have 100 int, you're going to have 100 spell points. That's not very many. Some have intrinsic benefits. I think high elves have 3 times int. 3 times int. Do that every time, dude. Seriously. If you want to do any magic in this game, do that. And we're going to add in immunity to disease. Now you're probably like, wow, this seems like it's really broken. No, trust me. Diseases can absolutely dead game your character if you're not careful. They're also not hard to deal with, but when they happen, it absolutely obliterates your character, so just don't do it. You can if you want to, but I'm not gonna deal with that. You can add some resistances and stuff. We are already intrinsically resistant to magic, I think. But don't worry, this is gonna balance itself out. I'll be fine without that, actually. We'll just go with it. Magic is very fucking dangerous in this game. It's absolutely imperative that you know how to deal with it. So let's go ahead and add some special disadvantages. I'm just going to go and say chain. You can do this to balance out the dagger so you actually have a proper way of leveling. So you can do all sorts of stuff like materials. Let's just say, I don't know, iron. No. I did that on my last character and it was an absolute pain in the ass. I'll just say forbidden armor type chain, and then we'll also add phobia to Daedra to balance it out, and we'll add a few more things, I guess. So yeah, you can use critical weaknesses if you want to. Poison is really nasty in this game, by the way. You can also take damages and sunlight in holy places. That's actually something you can get into later. Let's say low tolerance to poison then, just to make it seem like it's fair. And I think that'll be good. So we'll just go ahead and say max HP per level. This also is pretty important. We'll just go with like 10. We'll do 12. That's pretty fair in terms of like a character. And you can also edit your reputations with characters like merchants, peasants, scholars, nobility, the underworld. All these things are very, 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 very important. I'm going to leave it alone just for now. We can actually, I'm going to put that down to 10. I don't want it to be like super slow. So anyways, that's going to go for that. So yeah, all these things will increase likelihood of getting quests. You know, some quest chains unlock at various spots. Things like that, like Underworld is pretty useful, but I'm going to leave that alone. That's pretty much our character. And so this is the next part of character creation. So you can let the game generate your background for you. I don't recommend doing that. We're going to choose it. So this also determines some of your starting stats as well. You are most fond of using, we'll go with Longblade. What motivates me? Fun, sure. Which of the following skills have you been studying the longest? We'll go ahead and say dodging. So this is a child nickname was. This will affect your other stats. We're going to say Quicksilver for speed. You were loaned, the later allowed to keep. We'll just say, how about a Daikatana? We'll see how that works. What god, if any, do you worship? This is kind of important. I'm just going to say none for now, just to make it balanced. You have the most trouble, let's see, avoiding diseases, because we already have immunity. Since childhood, you have saved, what was a favorite book? That can be worth more. You're friendlier the most with, we'll just say, it determines, I'd say giants. Given 200 gold pieces as a reward, you decided to buy an ebony dagger, damn it. Spend any free time you have training with, let's say, Longblade. You are intimate friends with a mage. So, scholars, we have a higher, cool. We'll call ourselves, Leech something. How about Kree Haki? That sounds dark elvish. So let's do it. Let's choose our awesome face, because we only get a few of these. Looks so dead inside. Let's see. We'll do with that. The dead inside one makes me chuckle. Alright, next comes the most important thing. Your bonus points, man. This determines a lot of stuff. I usually don't fuck around with this too much, but let's go ahead and re-roll. I want a nice agility. That'll work. I'm not really that worried about it. So we'll do 75 agility and 60... There we go. That sounds about right. So, I'm just going to say that's good enough. And this is the next is your bonus points. We're going to go ahead and dump that into Restoration and Longblade. And minor skills, I'll just go with, yeah, that'll work. And I think critical strike, actually dodging. I think dodging is more important. So next is player reflex. This determines how fast the game moves. It also affects your leveling. Oh, excuse me. I'm going to go on very high, and we'll hit OK. I don't know how I'm going to say that name after a while. Shri Haki. Creaky, there we go, I don't know. And that's our character, so let's go ahead and start. Some serious shit going on.
400 years after Septim's reign, the beginning will meet the end, and the bloody circle will close in the Empire of Tamriel. The unworthy heirs of the Septim dynasty have allowed the bonds of the Empire to weaken and crack. Uriel Septim, the Seventh, cannot repair what his ancestors ignored. The provinces fight among themselves like neglected children, drunk with rebellion. One indomitable power hides itself, but not forever.
I don't know how much of that you guys could hear, by the way.
Excuse the gloom, but none may know of this meeting. The nature of my trouble is darker still. Over a year ago, King Lysandus of Daggerfall died honorably on the field of battle. He was as loyal a subject, ally, and friend as you are. I did grieve for him, but his spirit does not rest. With a spectral army, he haunts his former kingdom, crying for revenge. I do not know why a good and loyal man would be so cursed. Perhaps you can find the answer and close the marble jaws of oblivion, bringing peace to his soul. I ask this as your emperor and your friend. I have one lesser request. Several years ago, I wrote a letter to the Queen of Daggerfall. It never arrived. The letter was of a sentimental and personal nature. If you find and destroy that letter, I will be grateful. Now, my champion, rest well this night. For tomorrow you sail for the kingdom of Daggerfall.
Damn. If that isn't a way to get you psyched for a game, I don't know what is. So, you wake and look around the room. Some hours ago, you were in a boat en route to Daggerfall when a storm of supernatural strength boiled over the Iliac Bay like a malefic creature. Your boat was destroyed, but you managed to swim through the churning water to a promontory rock. There, you found a cave and escaped the fury of the storm. You had only just lit a small fire when a mudslide sealed you within. Your fear of being buried alive calmed when you saw the corridor leading out of the cavern. Perhaps there is a way out of this cave after all. Once free of the cave, you can begin the Emperor's quest. Don't need no damn tutorial. Save the game. So, main save. This is a new feature, by the way, of Unity. We can also have backup save. I'm also going to do dungeon start. I know exactly what I'm doing, but still, dungeon start. And then we're going to do quest start. You want to do these things ASAP. Getting your save. You only had 6, which you can toggle, by the way. Also, I can do different characters if I want to, by the way. We can go ahead and switch over to the other one I made if we really wanted to, but this is this character. So, squishiness aside, save the damn game. And we also have a nice handy quick save. Here's my controls if you want to see what they are. Here's the advanced stuff. Joystick stuff if you're a fucking scrub. We also have these... I think that's a new feature as well. And I think that's about it. So I have the full screen off because I personally like the way Daggerfall looks. It's kind of cheesy in a fun way to me. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into a few other things too. If we go to this up arrow, we can go to effect settings. I have everything pretty much left kind of alone, except for a few things. You can see what I have going on here. If you want to, I'm gonna turn the music down just a smidge. I don't want it to be super loud. It's a fantastic soundtrack, but still. So let's first go into what we have to do. So what is the story? Basically, King Lysandus is dead. Daggerfall is the province in High Rock, and the Iliac Bay borders Hammerfell and the Iliac Bay. There's a lot of political shit going on in this game, which is pretty interesting. What else? The Emperor is the same one, by the way, that's in Oblivion, who dies. And then, technically, the guy standing next to him is Chancellor Okado, which takes his place after the Oblivion Crisis, but that's beyond the point. So, this game is fantastic. Shit, dude. So let's go ahead and get into it. Before we do anything, we gotta get naked. And then equip our ebony dagger. No, I'm just kidding. We'll go with our steel daikatana. We'll put clothes back on. YouTube will freak out. So, let's see. 3 to 10. So these are the handy features that this actually adds. Let's go ahead and drop these. We don't need this. Actually, 1 to 15 versus 3 to 21. Yeah, we'll use the iron. Why not? So, equipping things is pretty basic. We can also go to a wagon when we get one. Removing stuff drops it on the ground. Ebony Dagger, the reason you pick this, by the way, is because this actually lets you harm magic creatures. The spell book, don't drop it. This, if you fucking drop this, it's gone. You can't do magic anymore. Like, period. Don't ever get rid of this. There is a console command, which I can show you here if we go into help. There's one in here that lets you actually do that if you lose it. I think it's adds something, if I'm not mistaken. It doesn't matter. So this is a huge buff. So yeah, add book. There we go. It should be add spell or something like that. It doesn't matter. Yeah, basically, yeah, add spell book. I just saw it a second ago. So basically, this is your character. These numbers on the side represent your armor rating. This is just, like I said, wow, we're $352, Jesus. So, yeah, this is a pretty complex game, and I'm very excited to play it. So, let's go ahead and get into it. So, I've played this game a fucking lot, but we are very squishy right now, so be very careful. Privateer's Hold is very, very notoriously... let's go ahead and wear this. I like this. So, Privateer's Hold is a notoriously fucking hard dungeon. By the way, our starting spells, I have mine set to middle mouse. Shock, Chameleon, Slow Falling. By touch. This is so nice. We can also do this. Some of these are new. And then you can get the classic ones as well. That looks like a little poop. So, yeah, there's tons of little things that have been added. Now you're probably like, oh, this looks so bad. Trust me, man. I fucking love dungeon crawlers. Actually, I can't damage that. So, that is an imp that's doing its thing. We'll go ahead and equip our ebony dagger. Get rid of this. And equip that. So, that imp is probably going to kick the shit out of me. But I'll try and fight it anyways. This is why I always say, when you're making your character, make your damn thing have that ebony dagger so you can take care of that stupid imp. That thing will bully the shit out of you if you're not careful. So, okay. Also, quick save like crazy. We'll take the cactus. I'm probably not going to use alchemy, but you never know. So, you start off in Privateer's Hold in Daggerfall Province, right? You're in, technically, High Rock, which is the home of the Bretons, but in this game, it's basically just essentially a very fucking dangerous area. That thief is very fucking dangerous, too. Everything in the beginning of the game is dangerous. Okay, enemies nearby. Shit. There's also some general AI improvement I've noticed. You can toggle infighting, but I feel like that kind of breaks the game a little bit. So, cool. And we'll get some armor. So let's go ahead and equip that leather. We'll go ahead and pick this all up and put it on. You can see, just like in Morrowind, which I am sad that this has never been done again, you can actually add clothing on top of your stuff. Can we use this? Oh, never mind. So, also, this is new to this feature, is the ability to see how much you have on your character. That is so fucking nice. The other thing is, this is a leather helm, even though it looks gold. I think up to, maybe Mithril, you have to check the little description box down here. In the original, you just hit info and it did this. So, this is such a nice thing. You can also see how much gold you have just by moving around down here. There's so many nice things that have been added to this game. It's unbelievable. As a longtime fan. So, number one thing, you will save a lot. You do not want to fucking go through this game without saving. It is so dangerous. Oh, that's the damn NPC I didn't kill. Oh, shit. Let's try and do a spell. Yay! We shocked her tits in. Great. Steel... Wow, that's see what I mean? This is a huge buff. Just seeing this. You would never know that unless you looked at every single damn thing. So we'll go ahead and equip... Oh, that's right, I prohibited chain. Do I have booties? Do I have greaves? I can't remember. Oh, I have iron. So, yay, cool. We can get rid of that and that. And sweet. Also, I will point out, in the original, you only had one column of storage, like, on the side, so everything had to be scrolled through, like in Fallout 2, and it's very, very, very tedious. This obviously mitigates. Holy shit, I didn't even see that guy. I'm gonna get the hell away from here and just try and rest. So, enemies this early are very, very dangerous. Most enemies in this game can kill you in a matter of seconds if you're not careful. You also do not regenerate health. You also don't regenerate magicka. There's mods that do add that if you want, but I'm not doing that because it feels like it's, you know, against kind of like the policy, I guess. So, shit. I am so bad with touch spells, so forgive me if I die here. Yeah, that's fine. I'll just... Yeah, touch spells are really iffy. If you're not careful, you can get killed really quick. I'm probably gonna have to maneuver this guy out of here. Oh, shit. Well, and if you're like, oh, wow, man, terrible this game. Believe me, I did not intend to spawn this guy in. He just kind of did his own thing, and this game is extremely unforgiving. So let's just go ahead and go over here and just rest again. This is normally a genuine problem with Daggerfall, is the beginning of the game is so damn rough. I was kind of hoping to go through Privateer's Hold without taking any deaths, but it's something that can sometimes just happen if like a random NPC like that spawns, so I'm not super worried. Oh my god, we are getting just loads of stuff really early. This is awesome. It's gonna take a while to really replace that helm. I'm happy with that. So, enemies do spawn if you don't kill them quickly. And there we go, we already got a tower shield. Badass. Iron to chain, so that's still really good. And a silver katana. And an elven broad. Holy shit. Wow. Okay then. This is starting off really fantastic. So, this is just great. Pardon the few deaths, but honestly, if you've never played Daggerfall, you're gonna get killed a lot. This game is fucking hard. Until you reach maybe like level 10, you're gonna get killed pretty damn quickly, especially by magic enemies. In this dungeon, I do know where I'm going. I'm just trying to get as much starter loot as we can before we get opened up into the real world here. There's one more rogue over there that I kind of want to be healed up for. And if you're like, wow, you're resting a lot. Yeah, this is Daggerfall, dude. This is just how this game works. Also, I chose immunity to disease for a reason. Rats, bats, and undead creatures have a very, very high chance of infecting you with disease. You can become a lycanthrope, you can be a wereboar or werewolf in that category. And I think you can also be a vampire. I've actually never done it. But trust me, it's possible. This game has a lot of shit that lets you do. Oh shit, shouldn't have went there. So let's see if I can just kind of sneak around that skeleman. So there's a big, pissed off, angry skeleton, and that guy, I swear, has probably killed more people in this starter dungeon than anything. I'm not going to try and fight him. My first experience with this in Unity was, oh, let's see if I can cheese him like I used to. No, the AI has been actually fixed in a lot of senses. So doing some of those cheesy things doesn't really work like it used to. Like, enemies would usually get stuck on lots of weird shit like level geometry and things like that. They don't really do that anymore. Also, this is the skeleman I'm talking about. You see him over there? Good. We don't need to go near his ass. He's gonna fucking obliterate me like fucking Exodia. So I'm not gonna go near him right this second. I'm actually gonna just bolt right past him when we go through that area. And I'm probably just gonna make a mad dash out of the dungeon when I can. But right now, I think I could find the grizzly bear room. There's quite a few things I have to explain, but there's also a nice feature in this that is sort of modern. There's lots of mods that let you randomly start somewhere else. You can start in a dungeon, I think, and you can also start in a town. There's also smaller dungeons, which I have disabled, because oh man, who the hell does that? Daggerfall is a huge dungeon crawler. This game is like 99.99% dungeon crawling and 1% other. So if this isn't your kind of game, I'm sorry, but if you really, really would, I would appreciate if at least you leave it on so you can, you know, help the channel out. Or if you don't like it, that's understandable. You don't have to watch it, I guess. But maybe you just want to see some, like, ancient history and hear me ramble. So I am not lost. I know it probably looks like I am, but trust me, I'm not lost. There's the bear. I know there was a bear in here. I was like, God damn it. Okay, here we go. So grizzly bear doesn't have any loot, neither do rats. Rats, bats, and a few other things like Atranax don't actually have any, like, loot when they die. Humanoid enemies do, but I'll explain more about that later. So Skeleman is pissed off. I'm just gonna ignore him. Believe me, I don't want to fight him. He will absolutely fucking kill me. He is a one-shot in, like, the making, if you're not careful. Oh, Frampt, go away. Don't be so Rory. So let's take those mummy wrap. Ooh, wait a minute. Silver? Bitchin'. Okay, we're getting some really good loot for our first, like, dungeon. This is amazing. Also, you always start in Privateer's Hold. Hi, Frampt, how you doing? Also, if you want to make the game as hard as possible, you can basically prohibit your character from using weapons, magic, anything. There's nothing like this in other Elder Scrolls games, which makes this game so good, and yeah, but we leveled up. So let's go ahead and put 70 into int, agility up to 79. Unless, actually, no, let's do 80 agility. I do not want to have any fucking difficulty with this character. Trust me, it may seem like, oh wow, you can make your character really broken. The game lets you do that. It's not just like, you know, oh well, boo-hoo. No, you can do that. If you know what you're doing and you can make your character stronger as weak as you want to make. And that's something that I really, really love about Daggerfall. It's something that's more of a tradition from like Baldur's Gate and a few other games, but you know, we've also just, by the way, stealthed around the Skeleman, so that's pretty sick, honestly. And this should take care of the rat. And there's only a few more enemies left. There's, I think, a rat, and then there's also the exit right here. And let's see if I can kill the imp. I'd like to kill the imp at least. He should be out of magic. Yep, good. So, let's not die to the bats. That would be really depressing. Alright. What is still... Oh, that's right. There's a hidden door over here somewhere. So, this texture right here is always a dungeon exit. And that's it. Look at that. This is something that I cannot stress enough, but it's going to have to wait till the next video. We'll start explaining how towns work and all that stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.